What's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. Subscriber died trying. You see the thumbnail. Um, can she settle for a cheap wedding? So, talking about marriages, but more importantly, in this scenario, weddings, and talking to my lady about how she didn't know about the story about the $25 engagement ring. Forgot it was K. I think it was K Jewelers. It's either K or Zales, and the backlash that got. And I was like, well, it's interesting to me because, you know, the families don't pay for these weddings. The wife's family don't pay for these weddings like they should. That somehow, when it's predominantly female-headed household, the traditionalism of the wife's family pay for the wedding just happened to go out of the window. But in that sometimes causes issues in relationships because what winds up happening is you're dealing with people who are having these divorces predicated on finances, and one of the finances was probably the debt from the wedding, honeymoon itself. Now, what people seem to forget about is the family wanting so much input on the day, and it all being about the day. But has anybody ever asked, can she handle a cheap wedding? What if you have to have a big wedding in your city or subsequently one of these, your hometown? Does that what needs to happen for you to feel satisfied for that big day? Can you go to the courthouse? Can you go to Vegas? If you want to take it a little further, can you do a destination wedding with a couple of people? Can you do that? Because, maybe you don't want to do the courthouse. That's too cheap for you, right? You feel some type of way. But what's more important? Is the wedding more important or the marriage? Because if the marriage is more important, then the courthouse, the courthouse, Vegas, destination, it comes out cheaper than the actual whole wedding and all that. And it might save you a lot of arguments and frustrations on the back end. Same thing with the ring, right? Could you settle for a cheap ring? And we were clowning about it, and she said, you mean like have a wedding and then maybe have a better one later on? Like, I don't know if people are down for that. I was like, yeah. That's because they don't stay married long enough to do that, because they spent so much money on the first wedding and ring that they so far in debt that the marriage subsequently falls apart because it was all about the wedding and not necessarily about the marriage. And then now, what are you going to do? You're going to break up, right? Because we having all these financial woes. That's part of that Netflix show. Because we was watching Family and Fiance a little bit, but it was a Netflix show about marriage or mortgage or something like that, where you got the engaged couple had to pick between their wedding or actually their dream wedding or their dream house. And most people pick the dream wedding over the dream house. And ironically, what wound up happening was COVID hit and they didn't have their dream wedding because of COVID. And then they didn't have their dream house, and then they wound up doing this small wedding. And I'm thinking to myself, in my mind, it's like, as a guy, I could courthouse, Vegas, maybe destination, nice ring, not over the top, and we live good. Because you have a better marriage if you living good. You can upgrade the ring. You can upgrade, throw an anniversary reception or something. I don't know. But is it worth it? Like, is the wedding day itself worth it? Or, is the wedding day more important than the person you're marrying? Or do you have to please the person you marry to the extent that you put yourself in a hole, and then that creates animosity in a relationship? Because normally, say what you will, but when the money's funny and the credit won't get it, as Martin would say, it's not gonna, do too much. Relationship suffers. And I'm gonna do another video about how, how overspending ruins the sex life, but that's gonna be a little bit later. But it ties into that at the end of the day, you really don't want, you want the day so much that it might set your life back. To me, it's not that important. Most people, most people don't even like their wives and husbands after, like, I don't even want to go home to be with this mother. Yeah, I don't even want to look at them pictures, man. That was the last day of my life. It's like that. But, and that works with the ladies too. So, I think if people were less involved in the wedding day, the marriages will last longer because they have less financial ball and chain hanging around their neck. But that's just my thoughts. Tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe, or die trying. Peace.